to Al Jazeera International Academy here in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. My name is Mr. Paul Anthony and I have a website which is called mrpaulsenglish.com. So before we begin this lesson, I want you to make a note of that because on the website there are lots of English language resources which you might want to use. So let's have a look. Here's the address. mrpaulsenglish.com. Now, today we're going to talk about the present perfect tense. I have done. So now we're going to look at the present perfect. And this is our Premier League footballer. There he is. He's not very happy. He's not a happy chappy. Why is he not happy? He's injured his leg. In fact, he's broken his leg. Oh dear. I'm just going to remove my pullover. I've had this cold all week. I think I should take this off. Give me 1 second. Oh, that's better. I'm back. Now then. Back to our footballer. So what happened to him? Something happened to him in the past. Let's put the past here. P-A-S-T. Now don't forget, we use the present perfect for an action that began in the past and continues up till now in the present. So, this is what happened to Mr. Footballer. He says, I have broken my leg. Action happened in the past. I have broken my leg. But what is the effect of this? Let's put the effect here. E-double-F-E-C-T. Effect. The effect of a footballer who has broken his leg is, he says, well, I can't play football. I can't play football. I can't play football when? Now, in the present. I can't play football now. N-O-W. Right now, in the present. So we could say that the present perfect tense is the present now from the point of view of the past. And the effect that past action has now in the present. We could say that, yeah. So don't forget, the present perfect we use for an action that began sometime in the past and continues up to now. And has an effect now in the present. Now we're going to look at the structure. So here we are. Let me come and stand over here. The present perfect tense. I have done, we have done, you have done, they have done something. So we use subject, which is I, plus have, plus the past participle, which is verb 3. So have is not the main verb. Have is an auxiliary verb. It's a helping verb. The main verb would be what you've actually done. For example, taught, studied, driven, been. So let's have a look at some of these examples here. I have taught English this morning. So taught is the main verb. And as you can see, it is irregular. So we can use irregular verbs in the present perfect, as well as regular verbs that end in ed. This morning, that means this part of today, which is now finished. Okay? We have studied a language today. You have driven a car this week, and they have been to London this month. So here we have the time clause. Each one of these is a time clause. The difference between have been and have gone. Well, for example, if I say George has been to London, we can say George went to London but has now come back, and he's probably here now. But if I say George has gone to London, it means that George went to London and he's probably still there because he hasn't come back, he hasn't returned. So he's still there. Okay? Right, well, let's have a look. So that was I, we, you, they have done, but what about the third person singular? And what is that? Let's kind of try to work this out. So we have an I, so that's the first person, I. Then we have we, you, they. We, so that's plural. They're second person, but it's plural because it's more than one person. We, or we. You, so that's also plural. It could be you, or it could be singular. If I'm talking about one person, you. So if I'm talking about one person, it's singular. You, so that's second person singular. But if I'm talking about more than one person, you people, so that would be second person plural. They, well that is plural, they, second person plural. So we've got the first person, I, second person, we, you, they. So then we have the third person, which is always in the singular, always. He, she, if it's a woman. It, we use for animals and things. Okay? So let's look at that. Third person singular, we use the form has done. Okay? Has done. He has done, she has done, it has done something. In the past up until now, the effect it has now. So let's have a look. He has walked to work today. Regular verb ends in ed, but the sound, t, walked. Okay? Has walked to work today. That's our time clause. She has done her homework. We always say has done her homework. He has done his homework, like that. This evening. Now you might think this evening, you're talking about future, but no. The speaker, the person who is speaking, for them it's probably 9 p.m. in the evening. It's already evening when the person speaks. So if it's in the evening, when you speak, you can say this evening, because this evening it could be 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., right up till 10 p.m. 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. So that's the evening. And if you're speaking during this time, then you can say this evening. So she's done her homework this evening. She's a good girl. Yeah, like that. Then it has eaten the chicken. Now we don't always need to put the time clause. It's not always necessary. Maybe you've got a little dog, he's a bit naughty, and the dog saw the chicken sitting there next to the oven, and the dog's like, food. And the dog will eat the food. It's an animal. So if you're very angry, you can say, it has eaten the chicken. There's the exclamation mark. It's a bit like a karate symbol, because you're being emphatic. Wah, wah, it has eaten the chicken! Very angry, you see? So there's our different examples there. I'm going to give you some more examples now, but I hope you've made a note of some of those. So this is basically the present perfect tense, and let's look at some more examples. So don't forget, the present perfect tense begins with an event in the past and continues up to now in the present. That's what we call it, the present perfect. And with the perfect we use have or has. But don't forget, when people speak naturally, they don't say, I have eaten breakfast. They say, I've eaten breakfast this morning. So, I have becomes I've. I've done this, I've done that. We have becomes we've. We've studied English grammar this morning. You have becomes you've. You've driven your car to work today. They have becomes they've. They've done their homework. Like that. So don't forget, people speak in contractions. That's how people naturally speak. I, we, you, they. And don't forget, the subject is actually the subject pronoun. It's the pronoun. I like to think of it as the more professional noun, if I can say that. Because everything else is a noun. Table, chair, wall, book. These are nouns. But with people, I, we, you, they, he, she, and it, we say pronoun. Okay? So these are the subject pronouns. Okay? But remember to speak in contractions. He has taught English today. He's taught English today. She has cooked lunch this afternoon. She's cooked lunch this afternoon. It has eaten the chicken. It's eaten the chicken. People always speak in contractions, okay? Don't forget that one. So, for the negative, we use not, okay? We use not for the negative. I have not. But in the contraction, we say haven't. I haven't played football today. So as we know, today is the time clause. Played, this is a regular verb. And this is the main verb, okay? The past participle, verb 3, is the main verb of the sentence. Have is the helping verb, the auxiliary verb. We haven't eaten lunch this afternoon. Helping verb, negative, main verb, time clause. Subject pronoun, subject of the sentence. Have, in the negative. Main verb, the object of the sentence, and the time clause. Okay? Let's look again at the next one. Subject pronoun, the subject of the sentence. Have, for the present perfect, in the negative. The main verb, cleaned, regular verb, ends in ed. Your room, that's the object, I should say, the object of the sentence, followed by the time clause. Subject pronoun, the subject of the sentence. Have for the perfect, in the negative. The main verb, past. Here we have the t sound, past. You can only learn these by practice. That's the only way to learn these. And then we have the object of the sentence, and in this case, it's not necessary to use a time clause. Okay? Okay, so in the question, we change the position of the subject pronoun with have. We simply swap them over like this. So let's have a look. Have I taught English well this week? Now you may say to yourself, but teacher, didn't you say for a person we say hard? Well, that's true. But if we're talking about a singular person talking about themselves in the question, we say well. Have I done this well? Have I done that well? It's an exception. The English language is an irregular language and it is full of exceptions. The only way you can learn all of these kinds of exceptions is by practice. You have to practice. But in this situation we say, have I done this well? Have I done that well? Have I taught English well this week? Yes, I have. So the next one, have we studied hard today? So if it's more than one, have we studied hard? Have you studied hard? Have they studied hard? Okay, so for the single person we say well in the question, otherwise we say hard. Have you taken the dog out today? Maybe they've got a little dog and want to make sure that the dog goes for a walk in the park or on the beach. There's no beach here because this is the desert. Lots of sand though. Have they done their homework yet? You can say, have they done their homework? But you can also say, have they done their homework yet? And yet means up till now, up till this point. Oh yes, they've done their homework. Oh, that's good. And with has, it's a little bit different as well. Let's have a look at has. Has he finished, with the t sound, finished his homework yet? Yet means up till now. We're simply asking, has he finished his homework? Has she cooked, again with a t sound, has she cooked the chicken yet? And we're simply asking, up till now, has she cooked the chicken? Up till now. Here's a different situation. This one's in a situation. Has it rained today? So the past participle of the verb to rain is rained. Rained is our main verb in the past participle form. Here again, cooked is our main verb in the past participle form. Finished is our main verb again in the past participle form. Okay? So here we have examples of the questions with he, she, and it. The third person singular. Question in the present perfect simple. Okay? Now we're going to look at some regular verbs. Okay? Regular verbs end in ed. Okay? Regular verbs end in ed. Regular past tense verbs end in ed. They're in the past. If they're regular verbs, they end in ed. Let's have a look. So here we have present verbs followed by the past. Present, past. So what do we notice here? Play becomes played. The dog played with the ball. Walk, walked. Don't forget, walked. They walked in the park. Present, past. Talk becomes talked. Again with a t sound, talked. They talked on the telephone. Watch becomes watched. Ed, regular verb. They watched a lot of television. Cry becomes cried. The baby cried. Jump becomes jumped. He jumped up and down. So, regular verbs end in ed. And this is something we're going to look at shortly. Now, what we have to realise is that when it comes to the irregular verbs, they come in three separate forms. The present simple, the past simple. The past simple is when the action is finished and the time is finished. And then, of course, verb 3, the past participle, which we use in the perfect tenses. Look at the three different types of verb we have here. In the present simple, begin. For example, I begin my work. I begin my work. Past simple, began. I began my work this morning, earlier today. Past participle, begun. I have begun my work. Of course, it could be anything really that you are starting. But do you see the differences here? So this is the real problem with irregular verbs. We know they do not end in ed, so they're all different separate kinds of words, depending on our particular tenses. So here again we have the verb to catch. I catch the board marker. This is the verb to catch. Past tense, I caught the board marker. And with the present perfect, I have caught the board marker. Catch, caught, caught. Catch, caught, caught. So sometimes the past simple can be the same as the past participle. Catch, caught, caught. Present simple, choose. This is for choice. If someone says, which colour do you want to decorate your room? You want to paint your room? I choose blue. Sky blue, that's my favourite colour. So I choose sky blue. That's my colour. In the past, I chose blue. That's what I did in the past, before now. But in the perfect, I have chosen. Choose, chose, chosen. I have chosen blue. So you see the difficulties here with the different types of irregular verbs. Let's look at some more. Now here's a word which you might think is quite simple, quite easy. Very common word, very usual word. Excuse me. Drink. I drink coffee. I drink tea. I drink juice. That's what I do. That's a daily routine. I drink juice. I drink coffee in the morning. Past simple. Drank. I drank some coffee this morning. Drink, drank. Present, past. Past participle. Verb 3. I have drunk some coffee, or I have drunk coffee this morning. So as you can see, there is no rule for the irregular verbs. You simply have to memorize the regular verbs in the particular tenses. So, you need to build up your vocabulary lists. I want you to study 8 new words a day and put them into at least 6 or 7 different tenses. See how you can use those words. Okay? Because they are irregular, this is the only way to do it, is to try to memorize as many irregular verbs as you can and how to use them. So let's look at some present perfect examples. Some more examples for you. I have built my own house. We have hung, or we have hanged a picture on the wall. Both are possible. You have learnt, or you have learned, a lot of English grammar. Both are possible. Both main verbs are possible. Okay. They have read the book. Now here's an interesting one, because read is also spelt the same as read. I read books. That's what I do generally. I read books. R-E-A-D. Read. They have read the book. So it's read, read, read. Verbs 1, 2 and 3. Present simple, read. Past simple, read. I read the book yesterday. Read. They have read the book this week, for example. And now let's look at he, she and it. He has kept the money. Keep, kept, kept. So for the past simple, it is also kept, spelt kept, K-E-P-T, and pronounced kept, the same as the past participle. She has phoned her friend, regular verb, ed. You can also say she has called her friend. It has slept on the sofa this morning. There's our time clause. And what we're basically saying is, and it is still asleep. It's probably a cat. Well, it got a bit cold again. Let me stand here so you can see it. It got a bit cold again. They're messing around with this air conditioning in this building. I really wish they wouldn't do that. Now it's really cold in here, so I put my jumper back on. Now, the thing with the past simple, I like the past simple because it's the same for all persons. Now, you might be saying to yourself, teacher, can we say persons? Well, you can, in certain situations. Because, let's see, we have one person, singular, but many people. So the plural of person is people. So how can we say persons? Well, in certain situations, to do with English grammar, of all things, it is possible to say persons when we're talking about subject pronouns in a collective situation like this. So we can say all persons. And there are one or two other situations you can use the word persons as well. But generally speaking, you wouldn't. I must point that out. But here we can say that. Now, the thing is this. It's the same for all persons. I, we, you, they, he, she, and it all did something in the past. And the action is finished and the time is finished. If you look here, action finished, time finished. Well, I made it bigger so you didn't get the last part. But you got the idea. It's something that happened in the past. And I've got a cup of coffee. I drink coffee in the present. I drank some coffee just 1 minute ago. Ago means before now, in the past, sometime before now. So, that's what we're going to look at now. The past simple. So here we have some examples of regular and irregular verbs in the past simple tense. Don't forget the action is finished and the time is finished. I ate breakfast this morning. Here we have the irregular verb ate because it does not end in ed, so it is irregular. I ate breakfast this morning. That's what I did. I ate breakfast. This morning, that part of the morning, which is now finished. We played football at the weekend. We say at the weekend. I believe in America they say on the weekend. But we say at. In Britain we say at the weekend. Finish, action, played football. Finish time, the weekend. This is last weekend, okay? You did your homework yesterday. That's what you did. Finished time, your homework. Yesterday, finished time, finished action, did your homework, finished time, yesterday. So we have subject pronoun. We have the main verb, did, and object, your homework. That's the object of the sentence, and our finished time. They ate pizza for lunch. That's what they did. And because it says lunch, we know the time. Lunchtime, midday, 12 noon, or maybe 1 p.m., 2 p.m. He drove his car to work yesterday. Pronoun, subject pronoun. The pronoun is the subject of the sentence. This is the verb to drive. In the past, to drive becomes drove. Irregular verb. His car, that's the object. He drove his car to work, that's the object of the sentence. Finish time today, that part of the day which is now finished. She cooked, don't forget, cooked dinner last night. Pronoun is the subject of the sentence. Main verb, cook, in the past tense becomes cooked. The object of the sentence is dinner, and our finished time. That's a time clause, but it's the finished time. It worked, again, worked. It worked well last night. We say, well, because it's a machine, perhaps it's a computer, company computer. Well, it worked well last night. It's not, I didn't break it, it was not me. Okay, last week is our finished time. Finished action, it worked in the past. Okay? Good. Okay, now as in, or as with the present perfect, when we ask the question in the past simple, we change, we switch the beginnings of the sentence. You see here, now we have the subject pronouns in this position, and we have did for the question. So we have to conjugate the verb. In other words, we have to change the verb from the past to the present. I'm talking about the main verb here. Because the question word is the past. It's in the past. Look at each one. Did, past. Did, past. Did, past. They are all in the past. Which means the main verb becomes conjugated. It changes to the present. Let's have a look at that. Did I eat breakfast this morning? So we have did for the past question, subject pronoun, the main verb, the object, and our time clause. Okay, our time clause. Question. Did for the past question, subject pronoun, the main verb, subject, verb, object at the weekend, followed by the question mark. So if it's a question, we put the question mark. Did you do your homework yesterday? Because it's a question. So did becomes do. Did they eat? Ate becomes eat. Did he drive? Drove becomes drive. Did she cook? Dinner last night. Finished time. Did for the question, subject pronoun, main verb, subject, verb, object. Finished time. Did it work well last week? So the same again. So this is how we use did for the question. Don't forget to conjugate the main verb from the past to the present, because did is the past. Okay? Slightly different again for the negative. We use not for the negative. I did not becomes I didn't. I didn't, we didn't, you didn't, they didn't do something in the past. Let's look at our examples. I didn't eat breakfast this morning. I'm hungry. We didn't play football at the weekend. So now we're going to look at the present perfect continuous, as this is all connected. Okay, so now we're going to look at the present perfect continuous. I have been doing something. Now all of these things are connected, these different tenses. So we're looking at the connection between the different tenses. So, the present perfect continuous is an unspecified time between before now and now, if that makes sense. So it's some time before now, and any time in between then and now. So the time is not that clear, okay? For example, I've been teaching English this morning. Up till now, maybe, or maybe before now, but this morning, if you see what I mean. So, I, we, you, they have been doing something. Okay, so it's, for example, have been eating, have been walking, have been running, have been, I don't know, anything. A verb plus ing. Okay? So here are some examples of the present perfect continuous. I have been teaching English this week. So here we have our subject pronoun. Have been. Doing. ing for the continuous. Here's our main verb. And here's the object of the sentence with our time clause. We have been playing football this morning. So it's somewhere between before now and now, but the time is unclear, it's unspecified. You have been sending emails all week. Subject pronoun, have been, ing, main verb, object of the sentence, and the time clause. All week means every day this week. They have been listening to music again. Again means they listened before and they listen once more. Again and again, maybe even now. Okay? They have been listening to music again, or perhaps they stopped at some stage before now. When? We don't know. It's unspecified. It's not clear. So with the third person singular, we say he has been, she has been, it has been. He has been fighting, again, fighting, maybe with his brother, I don't know. So we have the subject pronoun, has been, plus the ing for the continuous, the main verb. Again means he was fighting before, so we can say he's been fighting, but maybe not now. Sometime in the past and sometime between that time and this time. It's very unclear. She has been shopping today. When? We don't exactly know when, but today, sometime before now. It has been working well all week. Every day this week, it has been working. So if there's a problem with the machine, I don't know why. So that's our examples for he, she, and it. And we use the same process for the question and negative. We change the two. Have goes here. Have I been doing? Have we been doing? Have you been doing? Have they been doing something? And the same with he, she, and it. Has he, has she, has it been doing something? Followed by the question mark, the same as before. And in the negative, I haven't been doing something. We haven't been doing something. You haven't been doing something. Have not becomes haven't, just the same as before. In the perfect. She hasn't, he hasn't, it hasn't been doing something in the past. The past continuous. That's why we use the ing. We will be following this up with some more information on the present perfect continuous. But for the time being, it's goodbye from me, Mr. Paul. Incidentally, I have been working for Al Jazeera for 7 years. Thank you. Goodbye.